Hi everybody, this is Linda Tillman and we're going to go in for our first inspection of the year. It's February 15th and these bees are going crazy. I'll let you see the front of the hive. There are lots and lots and lots of bees in this hive, and they've been like this even more so for the last few days, so I know I need to make a split now and possibly do some checkerboarding to help them. I'll start by puffing at the front door and saying, "I'm coming in, girls." Now, none of these bees were around for the last inspection, so they don't know what in the world that means. So I'll set my smoker down by the front door. The first thing I'm going to do is take off the feeder that's on the top. I've been doing what's called mountain camp feeding and feeding the bees pure sugar. Okay, now I feel a little bit better about how I opened that. I set the feeder down and forgot that it was going to not be in such a way that I could stack boxes on the top of it. Now I'm covering the hive with a hive drape. This generally calms the bees, makes them not as upset about the fact that I'm here. My goal is to make a split, which means I need to find 2 frames of brooding eggs, a frame of honey, and a frame with some pollen on it. This top box is not likely to be where I did it, but it feels pretty heavy. This next box looks really good. Lots of bees all over the top. Small hive beetle traps that they haven't propolized. I'll let you all see it up close. Lots of bees, lots of small hive beetle trap. The bees are all over the place. They're like, "We did not expect this today. What is going on?" So I brought a nuke box that I'm going to go out of sight of you and open the top of so that I can get ready to take frames, because I'm hoping that in this top box is where we're going to find some frames that we can take. What I would like is not to be taking this hive down too far, given that this is the first time I'm opening it this season. So as always, we're going to use hive drapes to try to keep the bees as calm as we can. I'm likely to get stung because they aren't used to my being here. So I have my gloves with me. If I do get stung, I'll put on gloves. I'm taking out the second frame from the side of the box, but it doesn't want to come. I don't know what that's about. Feels like the bottom of it might be broken. It is. That's really bad. So the whole sidebar has come off. We're going to see. Whew, sorry girls. I really didn't like that, and I can understand why. We have to decide what are we going to do about that frame. Pillowcases make great hive drapes because they are so just the right size and are made of good material. Usually I have a tight thread count. Now this frame has a small hive beetle trap attached to it, which is what all that noise was about. Now these are big cells. These look like honey cells on this frame. Let you see these. Really big cells. So even if they had eggs in them, which they don't, these are being used for storing the nectar that they have. They have nectar in here. So I don't know where they're getting it, maybe from the red maple tree. Now these are smaller cells, but again, all right, they're brooding eggs. There are eggs in here. Lots of eggs. I'm gonna hold this still so maybe you can see the eggs, and if I if I do this film, I will point them out to you in the film. This would be a good one to take. So I have to be very, very careful and sure that the queen isn't on this frame. Have a bee up my sleeve. So I'm looking very studiously for the queen. I'm terrible at finding the queen. I see a big old drone, another big old drone. A bee with bee with pollen on her legs, and some drone brood down here in the corner. But definitely a lot of eggs. So this would be a good one to make a split out of if the queen isn't on it. When you see a frame with lots and lots of eggs, it's also likely to be a frame where the queen is. And the last thing I want to do is take the queen out of this hive. Although, there she is, right there on this frame. There's the queen. There she is, right there on this frame. So we definitely don't want to take this frame because there she is. So I'm going to put this one back in there with the queen on it. There she is. What a pretty girl. So let's see if she's laid on the next frame over, because we certainly don't want to take that one. But it does let me know we're in a good box to make a split from. Let's see if there are eggs on this frame, because boy, that last one was the perfect solution for us. So let's see what we see on this frame. I'm going to go in the sun where I can really see. Okay, this frame has brood and eggs. And so since we know the queen isn't on it, we're going to take this frame and the bees that are on it and put it in our split hive. Okay, let's see what we're going to do now. We need to find another frame to take with us. This trap is so well propolized. Maybe I can get it. There we go. Now this one looks nice too. We're going to see what's on it. All right, this frame is Nectar and Honey, so it will help feed our little split. So we're going to put it in our split. And we're going to just put an empty frame in its place over here, because that will be just fine. They'll fill it up with honeycomb. The nectar flow is starting with the red maple right now, so they will be able to fill it up. Now we're going to kind of put this box back together and go down lower to look for some pollen for this split. I'll move all of these over. And then instead of putting back the frame that I have hanging on this rack over here that's broken, we're going to put it in the hive because it's got bees all over it, but we're going to put an empty frame. Let me go get one. It's going to be like checkerboarding. We're going to put an empty frame where it was. So we're in essence checkerboarding, because we're having not quite every other frame in this box empty. But that tells the bees there's plenty of room. You don't need to swarm yet. So it's a way of discouraging them from swarming. And I think we will put this broken frame, since we know the queen is not on it, in our split, because it just gives us more population. And that frame will not have to go with them when we move them into a big hive. But right now we're just putting them in a little nuke hive. So let's cover that up. Now I'm going to take this frame, broken as it is. See how badly broken it is? And I'm going to go put it in our split box. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole box where our queen was, and we're going to take it off of the hive and look at the box underneath, because typically that'll be where we'll find pollen. It's further down in the hive, not where the brood is. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge. So I'm going to take the smoke because I need to be able to pick the box up by the handhold, and the handhold is full of bees. So I say, go away, girls. Go away. I don't care where you go, but I need the handhold. Go away. Go away. They're complaining. I don't know if you can hear them. They're not happy that I'm here. All right, so now what we're doing is we're looking for pollen to put in our split. We have honey. We have a frame of brood and eggs. And now what we need is pollen. So I'm going to take off frame number 3. Well, this whole box looks pretty glued together. Maybe this frame right here. I don't know where all my hive drapes are, but I'm short hive drapes, so I'm going to use my sheet that I use when I go catch swarms. This frame feels so light that maybe there's nothing on it. What we need it to have on it is pollen. Whew, brood. I just broke open a big old drone cell as I pulled it up. Lots of capped brood. This would be a good thing to put in our split too, because it gives them a good starting population. There's good brood on both sides. Yes, there's pollen. And I want to make sure the queen didn't come down here. Here's a nice old drone. There's not a lot of pollen, but there's some pollen in these cells on the front. And you can see drone brood right there. We're going to put this in our split. Okay, I'm going to call this a split that's done. I'm going to move it to its new location. I'll take you all over there in just a minute. Now we're going to put this hive back together, and I'll show you the little nuke hive as soon as I've done that. This heavy sheet is harder to manage than the towels I usually use. Now this is the box our queen was in, and I'll make a note of that the queen was in the 3rd box, because we're likely to find her there again. But another good way to look for your queen is to look where there's brood and eggs. If there are lots of little eggs, very likely your queen is right there somewhere. So we're going to put this whole hive back together. We'll come back to it next week and do some more checkerboarding. So it wasn't very good that I left this box wide open to the world and went over there. I should have covered it with a hive drape. Good lesson for you all. Don't do what I do, do what I say. So there we have it. We've made our first split of the year. So our bees in the split are orienting themselves and starting to fly, and they will make this home and make a queen cell and end up with a good hive. There were 2 dead drones on the front of this hive first thing this morning, and those drones have been carried away. Bees have mortician bees that do exactly that for them. I'm hoping this hive thrives.